Good evening, everyone. Today I wanted to tell you all about the dream I had where I saw a dragon and how I was protected from this dragon. At the time, I was working in the Australian outback in a country town called coukd, and the accommodation that I was in, it was like a bedroom unit. There was a bedroom there, there was a living room, there was a kitchenette and a bathroom. Nothing big, nothing special. And my bedroom, the bed was faced, the bed head was towards the kitchenette. And this is Emmy. Say hi. She's looking for a sleep spot. And the bed rest was towards the kitchenette, and my feet in the bed were towards the outside wall. And in my dream, I was looking at that wall that my feet was facing, but from the outside. And there were a couple of scenes in this particular dream. So the first scene was that I was looking at the outside of the building that my feet were facing at, and I was quite some distance away. And there was, it started at this, I suppose you can call it a serpent. I'm not entirely sure exactly what it is classified as. Probably dragon is probably the best description, but it started like a movie, with in movies like Godzilla, for example, how it would they would build the suspense by starting at a certain spot, and then it would like move with the rest of as the animal is moving. You see it in crocodile movies, you see it in anaconda movies, you see it in shark movies, how they sort of zone in into that animal moves, and then with the music they sort of make it suspenseful. Well, it was like that without the music, and it started at his neck jaw area, and it went down his spine to his tail. And it was a very, very large animal. The head was about a meter in length, from the front end of his nose to the back end of his face. It was quite wide as well. And his skin was, because it was night, it looked very dark anyway, but it looked kind of black, and it looked shiny, either that it was wettish or that it was leathery, like a leather sheen. And it also looked really sort of scaly as well. And as it went down the spine, about here, that is where there were triangles on the spine, kind of like what you see in some of the dinosaur pictures. There were triangles that actually went down the spine for the rest of the spine onto the tail. And the tail was very whippy. Like it felt like it could actually do some damage if it was to whip around. And so I got this, as I was looking at the room that I was sleeping in, I saw this thing slithering, but he was slithering in a S sort of formation, kind of like, and it was sort of like this, and it wasn't slithering or slide on the ground per se. It was actually flying, but it didn't have any wings. Like it was in the air, and it was going towards my room. And as it came like 2 meters off that particular room where I knew I was sleeping on the other side of that wall, at that moment, that is when over my left shoulder I saw this really shiny, bright gold shackle that came, and it was kind of like how the cowboys, um, try and get animals with the rope, and how they throw it, and they're so accurate with it, and it gets the animals that they're able to pull back like a lasso. So it's like that happened, and there was like this big, really heavy, really thick gold shackle that came over my shoulder as I was watching this dragon beast thing going towards my room, and it shackled around his neck. And attached to the shackle was a really solid, thick chain, like golden chain that pulled him back. And as the chain pulled him back, he made ghastly sort of sounds that you would probably see in movies too. Movies like Alien or Godzilla, those kind of sounds that some of those monsters made. That is the kind of sound that he made as well. And then the scene was cut. And then the next scene was that I was standing where, like, maybe a meter off, or right with my back to the wall that that I'm sleeping on the other side. So this is where my feet are facing. It is that wall still, but I'm now, instead of facing it, I'm facing away from it, and I'm now looking at the dragon as he is shackled, and he was enormous, like if his head was like a meter, he would have been at least 10 meters long, and he was really, really big and dark, and black and shiny, and as he was shackled, he had really, really sharp pointed teeth as well, that and his tongue also protruded as well. So when he was crying out, and he would open up his mouth, and you would see the really, really sharp pointed teeth, but the spit would sort of drip from his teeth as well. Like, it was really disgusting. And his eyes were quite evil. Like, it was quite unpleasant, right? But right in front of me, as I was standing there looking at the dragon, trying to pull on this golden chain that is holding him back, in front of me was a row of angels, and they were standing shoulder to shoulder to shoulder to shoulder. In my visual field, I could see 6 of them, but I knew that line of angels actually continued. So I don't know how many there were, but I was able to see 6 of them, and they were facing the dragon as he was trying to pull coming towards me, and I knew that they were there to protect me. And as the dragon was pulling against this chain, they came like within centimeters of getting that close to these angels, and the angels didn't even flinch. They didn't even do anything, like nothing. They stood really steadfast, and like the dragon would come up to here with them, like making the really gnarly monster sounds, and they knew that he couldn't hurt them, and that is the moment that I woke up. So it's like the thing that gets to me is that there's a lot of scripture that actually talks about a dragon, and talks about the great dragon as well. Revelation 12 verse 13, it talks about that there will be a sign in heaven, and it will be a red dragon. And Revelation 12 verse 9, as well as the Revelation 20 verse 2, talks about a great dragon, the serpent of old, who was called the devil. And those 2 verses, they kind of support each other, because they both talk about the great dragon. They both call it the serpent of old, who is called the devil. And when I woke up, I immediately knew that the devil had come to seek, destroy, kill me that night. And I was his target for that night. That in the town that I was at, because I was praying and because I was reading my Bible, I was like a shining beacon in the town for my faith. And as a result of that, I don't know if there's a lot of faith in that particular town, but I know that I stood out to him, and he came to destroy me. So I knew instinctively that was the dragon, that it was associated with being the devil. And the devil is not omnipresent like Yahuah is. The devil is a created being, so he can only be in one place at one time. And that night, I knew that he attempted to come and seek, kill, and destroy me, but he was unsuccessful because I was divinely protected. In that particular town, I also discovered from some of the locals that there was a big satanic movement as well, and the satanic underground church had also put a curse on the town as well, which I had picked up. I had to give one of the ministers that he was like a he had another full-time job because the churches were all sort of a volunteer sort of thing. But anyway, he came and assisted me to do to go through and bless that unit that I was staying at, and sort of to protect me while I was in that town. I no longer live there, but I do hope that you will all pray for that town and pray for the lifting of any curse that is on that town and on those people. No weapon that is formed against any of Yahuah's people will prosper. So I pray for all the people that are in that town, and in particular like a revival, so that Yahuah's people will there will be like a revival of people that will actually stand up in faith, and that they will actually pray and live and conquer all of the evil that is happening underground there. But anyway, I'm not sure if this will help anyone. This dream, I had it about 4 years ago. And even at the time, you would probably say that it is scary. I'm not sure if it will reinforce or confirm someone else's dream or vision, or if it will help anyone. But hopefully some of you might find it interesting. I'll see you again in my next video. Have a good night.